Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Gazetta Dello Five, and yes, I'm smiling hard this week. I'm smiling hard.
Stop the show. What's happened to your teeth?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's going on?
What's happened with your teeth?
What do you mean? I'm just looking after myself better, you know. Just
Wow.
and I've been taking tips from you in it. How can I be more like Rio? You know. Listen, myself, Joe Beya, smiling fresh, Rio Ferdinand, and of course, Mr. Fabrizio Romano. Steve's coming along soon. He should be coming on in a second. So let's start off. We want to do something a little bit different today. Fabrizio, it's always usually us talking to you, asking you the questions. We want you to come and tell us what you've heard, because I know you've got that inside scoop, the inside info.
Okay, the first one is about Rangers, because they need a manager after the situation of Steve Gerrard leaving and joining Aston Villa. And I'm told that talks with Jovan Bronckhorst are progressing so well in the last hours. It's not done yet, but talks are going so well. They had two meetings with Jovan Bronckhorst, his former Rangers player too. So it's a serious possibility. Let's see if today, tomorrow, it will be resolved. But it's a serious possibility. As I said, it's not done yet, but it's a serious possibility for Rangers. So he could be the replacement and the new manager after Steve Gerrard leaving and joining Aston Villa. And talking about managers, the impact of Antonio Conte at Tottenham, because I'm told from sources close to the club that he wants to give a big chance to Dele Alli. This is the idea of Antonio. So we know that Dele Alli is not having his best time. Last year has not been amazing for him and not at his level. But Antonio Conte is convinced that Dele Alli is a player for top clubs. He knows about it. He wants Dele to show his skills with now completely different attitude, completely different atmosphere in the club. And this is why Antonio is working on it. He wants to give him a chance before saying, okay, Dele Alli is on the market, because we know that also last January, Paris Saint-Germain wanted him with Pochettino. He's always been a player in the radar of many clubs to leave Tottenham. But before saying, okay, you can leave the club, Antonio wants to give him a chance. He told him, we start all from zero now with me. Show me in training every single day what you can do, because I trust your skills. So Antonio Conte wants to give a big opportunity to Dele Alli.
Man, welcome, Steve. Glad to have you inside.
What time do you call this?
I call this my camera weren't having it. Sorry, lads.
Well, at least you popped in, man. Okay, so we've just spoken about Van Bronckhorst. You got Dele Alli. Dele Alli again, another manager saying that he has the ability to do so. Rio, I'm not seeing it personally, and it's not because I don't like him as a player. I just don't know how many chances you need, man.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that a lot of people, Dele himself, will be sitting there going, all right, I've got to get it right this time. I think Conte is not, he doesn't suffer fools. He doesn't accept standards that are below what he sets. So I'm sure this is again a great opportunity. I think Jose Mourinho, when he went into Spurs, he was very complimentary about Dele. It kind of ended not the way I'm sure he would have liked. So listen, Dele, I know Dele. I speak to him. He wants to get it. He worked on. He's now got a manager who's going to have huge demands and be demanding of him constantly, every day. And that might be the turning point for Dele. But I think it's the same for a lot of players in that squad. A lot of players have underachieved for the last 6 to 8 to 12 months. And have got to get back to a point of consistency and get Tottenham to a place where they were before, where they reached a Champions League final a couple of years ago. They need to get back to some sort of form to get to that point again.
I wanted to remind one point on this one about Antonio Conte, because it reminds me of the situation of Marcelo Brozovic with Inter. Now he's one of the best center midfielder in the world. He's doing incredible with Inter in Champions League, in Serie A, with Croatian national team. But before Conte arriving at Inter, he was considered a player to leave the club on loan, a player with no good attitude, no good mentality, not so good in training. Antonio arrived and told him, I want you to change your life, to change your career. And in 2 years, Brozovic was one of the best midfielders in the league, if not the best. And now he's doing fantastic with Inter, also with another manager. So he completely changed his career. And this is why I think Antonio has a big chance for Dele, and it's up to Dele now to show if he really wants to.
Fabrizio, I think you're right. I think it's a great point. I think when you look at clubs historically, when a new manager comes in, there's always one player or two players that you see a huge spike in their form and their fortune changes. All of a sudden, he's become a big player and an important player. And it's a clean slate. And that's what Dele needed. He needed to have a clean slate and go again, but he needs to get it right now. But even, for instance, like Arteta, now all of a sudden Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe all of a sudden starting to do well. Yeah, they're young players, but a manager, no one expected them to be brought in so soon. All of a sudden, they're playing, they're affecting the games, they're affecting the team, integral to the team's success. So, as I said, either players that are in-house, young players, or players that have been on the outskirts of the team. Look at when all of a sudden Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in. Everyone's saying that Shaw was over. Shaw had the best season of his life, got back in the England team now. And so it changes for individuals.
Fabrizio, I know that there's more that you've probably heard before we start chucking them at you.
Yes, I want to continue on Man United on the point of Rio, because we always speak about Donny Van De Beek here on the show, and the situation is still the same. Let's see if maybe we'll change something on the pitch in the coming weeks, maybe. But at the moment, I'm still told that his plan is to leave. He loves Man United, but he's gonna leave if the situation will continue like this, because he wants to play. But the other player in this situation is Diogo Dalot, because it's true that Roma want him. Jose Mourinho wants him again. Man United paid the clause with Porto with Mourinho as manager for Diogo Dalot, and now he wants him again because Roma only have one right back, Karsdorp, and they need another one. And Mourinho wants to try for Diogo Dalot in January. Dalot wants to play. It's really similar situation to Donny Van De Beek. He loves the club, he loves the atmosphere, but he wants to play, and he's not a starter. So he was really disappointed also after the game with Atalanta. He was hoping to play also because it was in Italy after spending a great season with AC Milan last year alone. So let's see, because Diogo Dalot will fight for Man United till last day. I'm 100% sure on this. He's super professional. But in January, many opportunities will come, and Roma are interested in him.
Is it which clubs are Donny Van De Beek? Is Donny Van De Beek's team or himself looking at? Because I've seen a list myself, but I don't know if what you've seen is the same as mine.
There are many clubs in England. It's true that Everton wanted him at the end of August, and they are still interested. Let's see what Newcastle will decide to do for midfielders, but I'm told that they want a creative midfielder. So let's see what is going to happen with Donny, but also Spanish clubs. I will keep an eye on Spanish clubs too, because I'm told there is interest also from Spain, and it's not Real Madrid. Let's see if some other club will jump, but I'm sure that Van De Beek will have many opportunities, and I think it will be a loan. I don't see a permanent move in January at the moment. I think it could be a loan with a buy option or something like this.
Have you heard anything about us keeping it to Man United? Have you heard anything about Paul Pogba? I've seen reports in the paper today. His agent speaking.
Yes, he just spoke again. As always in international breaks, we have this word from Mino Raiola. And yes, what he said is again that he can stop Juventus fans from dreaming Paul Pogba, because here in Italy they always speak about Paul Pogba. Is always like this on newspapers during international breaks. Is Pogba Juventus, Pogba Juventus. But at the moment for Juventus, the economical and financial situation is not easy. So at the moment there is no negotiation with Raiola. Of course, Juventus are dreaming of Pogba, but there is nothing else. So what Raiola said is too early. So he was confirming what we always say here. Pogba is not deciding right now on his contract. When asked about the contract with Man United, he said it's too early to decide. Let's see what happens. So Pogba is not going to give any answer in some weeks or some days. It's going to take long, and it's going to take months before Pogba would say, okay, I want to stay, I'm going to sign the new deal, or I will leave as free agent. So it's still open.
Steve, I was going to ask you very quickly, not that you would know, but very quickly, who would you like to see come in? And then I'll bring it back to Fabrizio. Have Man United identified a potential replacement for Paul Pogba if he was to go? So we'll start with you, Steve, then Fabrizio.
I think United need to almost like start again with the midfield. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of research into different candidates and what they might bring and how they might play. And I've been looking at the great team that Zidane put together or had at his disposal at Madrid. And you look at that midfield three, Casemiro, Kroos, Modric. It's a world-class midfield, very defined roles that all three of those players have got. And when I look at United, I just see nothing like that level of balance. And I'd love to see Paul Pogba stick around and try and become the conductor, because I think he's got it in his locker. I think he's got the vision. I think he's got the ability. I just don't know about the consistency, because the consistency is the one that I think United fans have not really seen from Paul Pogba. If we don't go with him, I think you've got to find a more combative midfielder. I think that's what United kind of lack, whether that's someone in that Ndidi kind of mold, or someone that's maybe got a little bit more carrick about them and ball playing about them. There's not a lot of players that fit that bill. It's a bit of a specialist role, and you're looking for genuine world-class quality to be able to make United compete, I think.
Fabrizio?
I think it's going to be really difficult in January, so I expect Man United to move on this position in the summer. They want a defensive midfielder, whatever is going to happen with Pogba. This is what I'm told. So it's not about Pogba staying or Pogba leaving. They want a defensive midfielder. And as I said, in January is going to be complicated. I think next summer we will see if Declan Rice, that's super complicated. Tchouaméni is another player appreciated by many clubs, but Chelsea are on him since a long time, so it's not going to be easy to jump in the race for Tchouaméni. But if Pogba will leave, I won't exclude that they will go for two different midfielders next summer. So after in the summer signing a top centre-back like Varane, a winger like Jadon Sancho also for the future, maybe next summer could be the opportunity to go big for midfield if Pogba will leave. And I want to mention one name that is in the list of many clubs and at the moment is not signing a new deal with Leicester. That's Yuri Tielemans, that is appreciated by many and many top clubs. And when we talk about creative midfielders, it could be an opportunity for many clubs because he's out of contract, I think, in 2023. And at the moment, he has no plan to sign this new deal offered by Leicester many and many times. So let's see, Man United, but also Spanish club, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Many clubs are watching the situation closely. Also same for Manchester City, Liverpool. It's very open race, but this boy could be one of the big names for next summer, I'm sure.
What about another young player? One of my favourite players to watch at the moment, actually, over the last year. Fantastic player, great character, huge potential. I don't even see a ceiling yet to what he can achieve. Jude Bellingham.
He's incredible. I 100% agree with you on the player, first of all. But from what I'm told, the player is super smart boy. He's not just an amazing player. He's a very smart boy, very serious, super professional. And I think in today's football is super important, this kind of aspect for young players. And what I'm told is that he's not desperate to leave Borussia Dortmund. He knows that maybe one more season with Borussia Dortmund will be also important for him to play 38 games with less pressure than playing in top clubs in England when he's 20. So this is why he's not desperate to leave. Let's see what happens with proposals, because of course, if crazy proposals will arrive for Jude Bellingham, it will be difficult for Borussia Dortmund to say no. But at the moment, the plan of Borussia Dortmund is selling Erling Haaland in the summer with a release clause, and then keeping Jude Bellingham for one more season, and maybe selling Jude Bellingham in 2023. So in Borussia Dortmund, they always think like this. They did the same with Jadon Sancho. They wanted to sell Jadon Sancho last summer, and keeping Erling Haaland when it was really complicated because many clubs were interested in Haaland last summer, and they had their perfect plan. So I think it's not going to be easy to sell Bellingham in 2022. I think it's going to be a deal for 2023 if nothing crazy happens. And when I say crazy, I think it's going to be more than 100 million euros.
Rio, if we did bring Bellingham in, which of those three midfield roles do you think he fits?
Any. He's that good. Serious. If England in the England youth teams, if you go and have a look in the England youth teams, there's times when he's played as the holding midfielder. There's times when he's played as the 8, box to box. And there's times when he's been told he can go on and join the attack even more. So he has the capability and the capacity to play all of the roles. He's that good.
Would you stick him in the 8 then? Would you say develop as the 8 because you do a little bit of attacking, a little bit defending, and you're all action in the 8? Would you say that's where you got to really focus?
I think for him, I see him as being someone who can do it all. I think there aren't many midfielders in the game now that can attack and defend, can affect the game at both ends of the pitch. When you're one of the super clubs, I think there's talents out there that you think, if we've got the capacity and the financial muscle to get, he's one you don't want to miss.
Yeah, I think he should feel a little bit hard done by when he's in the England squad, because I think as much as I love the players that are getting opportunities, I think he deserves to play even more than my players like the ESRs, etc. And I just think it's when you're in Germany, sometimes people don't see the quality of what you do, but he is definitely a top quality player. I want to keep it to United at the moment. I keep seeing Brendon Rogers is looking to buy a house in Cheshire and all this stuff. Can someone tell me what's going on? Like, Fabrizio, is he buying a house? Yes or no? Are you his mortgage lender? Can you tell me what's going on over there, please?
I don't know about houses, to be honest with you, but I know from what I'm told that at the moment is nothing advanced or nothing official going on. It's true that he's one of the names in the list of part of Man United board. This is 100% true. So in the list of Man United, there are names like Pochettino, Brendon Rogers, and Erik ten Hag, but also ten Hag had an interview a few days ago saying that he is not planning to leave Ajax, and this is the truth because he said no to Newcastle and saying for the director Mark Overmars, so he wants to stay. For Brendon Rogers, he's 100% focused on Leicester, 100%. When Newcastle approached him, He said, no way, I want to stay with Leicester. I want to continue this project. Then let's see if maybe Man United will decide to go big on him, maybe in the next weeks, if all the situation will not change. Okay, maybe it could change. But at the moment, what I'm told is that he's not in direct contact with Man United. He's one of the names in the list, but it doesn't mean that he's a direct contact. And same for Pochettino. He's working for PSG. Okay, I really feel on Pochettino's side, for example, I always say that it's the most difficult job in the world, because if you win, it's so easy. If you lose, you're the stupid manager, and the players are allowed to do whatever they want. So I am with Pochettino. I see everyone saying at PSG, we hate them. But I love Pochettino and I'm with him. So he's focusing on PSG job. So this is why for Man United at the moment there is still nothing going on manager side. And they hope that Ole will be able to change the situation. Let's see with Watford.
Steve, Brendon Rogers. Give me a reason why. You can't just shake your head. It's not good enough. Give
you a reason why. Should somebody start reading off the quotes that he said about himself? Should we start there? I'd have to say my biggest inspiration is myself, because I've always been there for myself. Guy said that with a straight face.
But that's not a reason why he can't manage Manchester United.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. The guy's just cringeworthy, mate. And call me old-fashioned, but I think there's got to be some loyalty in the game still. And Rio will tell you that there's not, and maybe there isn't enough, but I still want there to be loyalty in the game. Like, if one of your mates goes out with a bird, in my opinion, she's off limits forever then. That's done, dealt with. And it's the same if you manage Liverpool or City. You're done, you're dealt with. You can't manage Manchester United after that. There has to be some boundaries and there has to be some rules that get followed and not broken. And I'm not having a next Liverpool manager Manchester United.
So did you never cheer for Michael Owen then when he plays for United? Nope. You didn't?
Nope. I cheered when Ryan Giggs had that deflected goal off him in the derby.
When he scored the goal in the League Cup final.
Well, that was another deflection that I think we got lucky with, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Also, players are different. Players are different to managers. The manager's the figurehead of a football club.
Oh, come on, Steve. No, that's picking and choosing. That is definitely picking and choosing.
I would think of Antonio Conte.
I wouldn't take Klopp or Pep right now either. No, they're City and they're Liverpool. They can stay over there.
Imagine that Antonio Conte has been the symbol of Juventus for 20 years as a player, as a manager. He won everything with Juventus. And when we arrived in Inter, many fans were thinking like you, Steve. But then he won the title 10 years after not winning any single title with Inter. And he was the best manager.
You tell him, Fab.
Also, Joel, are we honestly really believing that the guy to compete with Guardiola and with Klopp and with Tuchel in this league is a guy that hasn't finished above Solskjaer? That makes zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah, but Solskjaer's had an incredible squad, not just the starting 11 squad. You know, so you expect Solskjaer's squad to finish above.
So football's on fine margins, right? United should have won the Europa League last season, and we didn't, right? And that was a mistake. We should have won that. We was in a position to win that. Well, Brendon Rogers had the ability to finish top 4 by just beating Manchester United at home and didn't. So you got to look at the big moments. For me,
he still won the FA Cup, though. He's won the FA Cup, beat a respectable team in the Community Shield as well. So he's still got him winning things.
Right, cool.
Yeah. If you look at Fabrizio, Newcastle's interesting. Emenalo, that's a name that we used to hear a lot at Chelsea. What's the situation with him? Because I'm hearing links about him with Newcastle.
Yes. It's one of the possibilities. They're going to decide on directors in some days. They're going to meet with some directors this week. Emenalo is one of them. So let's see what they will decide. Who is the right man to build this new Newcastle project? I'm told for January they want a centre-back and they want a creative midfielder and a striker. This is the list for Newcastle in January. Then let's see what the new director will decide. But this could be the potential list for Newcastle, these 3 positions. Now it's time to decide, as I said, for the director. After the manager, Eddie Howe, is now time to decide who will be the man who will sign these players and who will build this new project. Emenalo is one of the names in the list. And so I think in a few days we'll have the final answer, but Newcastle are moving on. They know that they need something in January to change the situation, and then in the summer to go big with top names.
Well, in the summer or in January, we need you to go to work and find out next week who those 3 players are going to be then. I'm looking forward to next week already.
What do you know about Emenalo? Because obviously as a player, you hear about directors, especially a club like Chelsea who you're always watching. What do you know about him?
Yeah, I know him personally. Great guy, really good guy. Had a good few conversations about him on various issues, football and non-football. Real football man, and he knows the game. He's played that role at other clubs. He understands the game. He understands scouting networks. He understands what you need behind the scenes to have a successful, well-functioning club. So he would be a very good choice. I'm sure there's more people in the mix, like Fabrizio said, but he would be a sensible choice for me. Someone who's got very, very good experience as well. Obviously, this is a new experience in terms of the level of club he will be working at, and the situation is very, very kind of bespoke to this club with the level of finances that has come in. But if you want experience, somebody that knows the game, knows scouting networks, knows players, has had their fingers on the pulse in this area already, it's a very sensible proposition.
No, that's a good one there. Fabrizio, I'm looking at time here, but I want to ask you, Dani Alves to Barcelona. Did you see it coming? Because you was on a show with us last week and you didn't tell us.
I wasn't expecting, to be honest, but it was a crazy one because it was a Monday, and I still remember that from Barcelona the answer was no. And 1 month ago, when Dani was available as free agent, he was offering himself to Barcelona, and Ronald Koeman said no. In the board, they were not convinced. Then Xavi called him. It was after lunch, they told me, and said, okay, we need Dani Alves. We need Dani Alves as a leader, but also as a player, because they have problems with injuries. With Ansu Fati, he's injured. With Sergio Aguero, let's hope he will be back in the coming months, but at the moment, he's not available, unfortunately. And this is why he needs players. And so Serginho Dest could be playing sometimes, as he's doing also with the national team, as winger, and they need a right back. And this is why he said, okay, let's go with Dani. We need this kind of player also to help many young players we have in the dressing room. And everything changed in 3 hours. So everything was agreed in 3 or 4 hours. So this is why transfer market is crazy, but I was absolutely not expecting this move. And also Dani himself, he had a proposal from Flamengo. He was speaking with Flamengo because from Barcelona was no answer, and Xavi completely changed the situation.
My last question for Fabrizio before we go, man. Xavi coming back to Barcelona, could we possibly see, given that it's been a bit stop-start so far, Messi back to Barcelona?
I think no, to be honest. After last summer, never say never in football and in transfers. But at the moment, I think no. I think no, because this is not the plan for Messi, from what I'm told. So never say never, but at the moment I would say no. But dreaming, as Mino Raiola said for Pogba, I can say the same for Barcelona fans. Dreaming is normal, but at the moment there is not a plan. At the moment, it's not a plan.
Messi on loan to Barcelona next season. I'm there. I'm all for it.
We have to think also on PSG side, because maybe they're going to lose Mbappé because Real Madrid are still on it, and imagine also losing Leo Messi. It's not going to be what the president and the owners of PSG are thinking of. So I think it's going to be complicated.
Okay.
Well, guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. Please make sure that you're still following the 5 socials, because we've still got a few transfers to discuss on there, on the Instagram and on the Twitter. We're going to be discussing, just looking at in-depthly the Dean Smith situation to Norwich, maybe why Frank Lampard didn't get the role. It's all on the socials. And of course, Raheem Sterling's potential move to Arsenal as well. We didn't forget that. We'll probably discuss it.
You lot ain't got the money to pay for him.
What are you talking about? But if it's a loan move, anything can happen. City can cover some of the wages. We cover some of the wages. Why not? In my
opinion, you are not sending on loan a player with contract out in 2023. Would be the most stupid decision for a club.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Why you
I can't trust this kind of deal. To be honest.
He loves it. He loves an attack on Arsenal. All right, guys. Myself, Joel Beya, Stephen Howson, the late Stephen Howson, fuming on Brendon Rogers still. Rio Ferdinand and Fabrizio Romano will be back next week on Gazetta Dello 5. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we're gone.